I get a motion to return to open session, please? Oh, you know what we need to do first? I apologize. We need to call in Laura. Hi, Laura. It's Carla Little. We'll begin open session.
Okay.
Okay. Can I get a motion to return to open session, please?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Carla,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
Lizzie,
Yes.
Renee.
Yes.
Is Renee there?
Renee is here.
Yes, I'm here.
Do you want
These are on.
Lizzie to do the roll call this evening and you take the notes? Would that be easier?
That's okay, I just didn't hear Renee, and I knew she wasn't in.
Yeah, but your voice sounds really bad. Would that be okay?
Fine, it's okay. Corey,
Here.
Anna,
Here.
Brianna,
Yes.
motion carried 7-0.
Okay. Okay. Do you mind?
Do you have, I don't have the right form, but I
Oh.
can just jot down, and I can try to keep the track.
Yeah. Okay, welcome everyone to the Woodland Community Consolidated Board meeting for August 26, 2021. Can roll call, please?
Joe,
Yes.
Lizzie,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Brianna,
Yes.
and Carla.
Okay. Yep, here.
We have quorum.
Okay, thank you. All please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We don't have this on the agenda, but I hope you all don't mind. In light of things that are happening in our country and around the world today, and the loss of soldiers and citizens in Afghanistan, would you all mind taking a few minutes of silence just to honor? I know we don't have a flag that can be at half-staff in this room, but just to just take a few minutes to show our respects or give our respects, please. Okay. Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call vote.
Joe,
Yes.
Lizzie,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Brianna,
Yes.
and Carla.
Aye.
Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you, Laura. Next up then, we'll turn it over to Dr. Casey for our superintendent showcase. Looks like we have a presentation this evening.
Yeah, just a quick one. You really don't even have afternoon. So if I could have Elizabeth Sanchez-Pezzi and Adam Block and Clint Homer. For those of you that don't know, I think the board knows because I've said it a million times, but we took first place this year in the Gurney Days Parade float. But I want to sincerely thank, first of all, everybody that came out that day, was in the parade, and was walking. It was a very hot day, but it was so great to see our kids, and it was so great for everybody to see Wiley. It was just really a fun time. But if you look at the float, there was a lot of detail, and these two were the mastermind behind that detail. And then when they asked for help, Corey came out and helped that day. So you want to tell us a little bit about how you came up with your design? And
yeah, I would love to share that Elizabeth was the mastermind behind it. Yeah, Elizabeth did a great job planning everything out. And Corey was our tent building wizard there. He, put that whole thing together. So, they really led the way there.
Well, I mean, I think the feedback from the board was really great. We had a meeting. We talked about really making sure our brand stood out, our colors were there. We wanted to make sure people knew that we were Woodland, that all of our buildings were represented and the directional signs, and then also add some fun with the camp kind of theme and the outdoors. So it was really a great time. Alvaro and Jesus from ONF were amazing. I never asked them to help, and they stepped right in to drive. They did anything I needed. They were really great. So thank you for everyone. Yeah, Jesus, in like 100 degrees. He was in the Wiley outfit, yes. So thank you to everyone. We couldn't have done it without the collaborative effort.
that's great. So, Dr. Little, if you would come here and we can get just a quick picture with them, with our award, Gurney Days, best overall float. And you got it twice.
So it's a dynasty.
Hold it.
It may look better if you come in front of the podium.
Says our award-winning communications director.
Good job.
So now, like I said, we know what you're expecting next year. Repeat. That's what we want.
We'll start planning.
Start planning now. Okay. This superintendent showcase started out with a celebration, and we're going to continue with the celebration. As you know, this week we started school, and it was an incredible first day. It was an incredible first day because of our staff. It was an incredible first day because of all the planning that went into it with the people that are here tonight, the principals, the assistant principals, the staff that's been working all summer, our operations and facility department, our tech department. It all came together. We're still working out some glitches on some things because we're coming back after so many days being gone. So far it's been a great start. But I wanted to show you a couple of the things that the first one.
Which one do you want first? Either one.
That's right. This one is.
This is the staff.
Oh.
Yeah, the other one is the one where people sit there.
Okay, right. So this one we wanted to share with you, and this one out to all of our staff on the first day of school.
Hey, Wildcats, welcome back. It's Lori. Just sending a message out to you to let you know that if you hit a difficult time anytime this year, you can lean on us.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your need that you won't let show. So just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me. When you're not strong, I'll be your friend. And I'll help you carry on. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Just lean on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. That's my problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me.
There is a load you have to bear that you can carry. I'm right up the road. I'll share your load
If you just call me, call me, when you need a friend. Call me, when you need a friend. If you need a friend, call me. It won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on, lean on, lean on.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed our video. I hope you had as much fun watching it as we had putting it together. We're super excited about everybody coming back. We can't wait to see the staff, we can't wait to see the students, and we can't wait for a great year in Life in the W.
I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Somebody to lean on.
Okay. And the credit for that one goes to Stacy Anderson. Stacy Anderson put that entire video together. So thank you to Stacy. She's excellent at doing those things, so I knew when we needed that done, she was the person that could make it look great, and she did. The next thing we wanted to show you, which is our last thing this evening, is we sent out something to our families and our students and our staff, and I'll explain. You'll watch the video and you'll understand what we asked them about. And we showed this on the first day.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Casey, and I can't wait to hear from you about what Life in the W means to you and what you're most looking forward to this school year. To me, Life in the W is where we all belong. It's a safe place to come together, to learn, to grow, and to create wonderful memories. Welcome back to school, Wildcats!
We can't wait for kindergarten. Life in the W.
My name is Nellie, and I'm going to second grade. And why I'm so excited to go to second grade is because I want to meet new friends and teachers.
Woodland, Mr. Block here, Associate Principal at Woodland Elementary, and this is Mini Mr. Block. We are here to share how we're excited about one thing we've noticed during the summer is that when students and teachers aren't in the building, it's really not a school. It's just a building, and it's the students and the teachers being here and learning and being together that really makes it a school. So we are really excited to have you back for this school year.
My name is Colin. My name is Ellie, and we are both looking forward to going back in person and to meet new friends.
Hello, my name is Judah. I want to go back to school. I want to learn more. And I'm happy to learn about all the things I should learn about. And I'm happy to see my friends and my teachers. And this is my little sister, Zada. Say hi.
Hi! Come and see.
Goodbye.
We love you, Woodland. Life is in the W.
Hey everybody, I'm Mr. Rezak and I cannot wait to get back to school. Life in the W to me is exciting because what it means is learning through laughing, building relationships, having a great time, and having lots of fun doing it at the same time. And you know what it makes me think of? Doing a happy dance. Happy dance. Oh, I stubbed my toe. Bye, guys.
I'm excited to go to school. I'll see my friends in first grade. My name's Bruce. Hi, my name's Bruce, and I'm excited to go in first grade and to meet new friends and I'm at the Dominican Republic on vacation, and I can't wait to meet new friends and see my teacher and see the classroom and the school.
Welcome back, Woodland Wildcats. I'm Mrs. Santner, hello, and I teach 4th grade. And I wanted to share what I am most excited about this school year, and that is to have a full classroom of students again, because it just wasn't the same without all of your smiling faces in the classroom. So that is what I am most excited about. I can't wait to meet my new students, and I'm wishing all the Woodland Wildcats out there a great rest of your summer, and I can't wait to see everyone in the hallways. Bye!
Hello, my name is Charlie. I'm going to 2nd grade dual, and I'm really looking up for going to art class because I really love art. Bye.
Hi guys, I'm Mrs. Prumba, 5th grade West. Welcome back to school. This is where I did a majority of my teaching at home last year. I can't wait to be back in the classroom. I'll be seeing some of you 5th graders soon. Go Wildcats!
For me, life in the W means doing fun crafts and meeting new people.
Hi, I'm Mary Janet Oates, Assistant Principal at Woodland Middle School. What does Woodland mean to me? So many things. But most of all, students. Can't wait to see our students.
Hi, my name is Sawyer, and I am most excited about recess because I can meet my friends again from my kindergarten, and I can make new friends. Okay, bye.
Hi everybody, I'm Ms. Kolocheski. I am a teacher here at Woodland Middle School. What does it mean, life in the W? For me, it means a place where we all are part of something extraordinary. We are able to learn from each other and make the world a better place. I'm very excited that we can all be together in person this year. So I see you soon.
Go. My name is Nathan. I'm going into first grade. My teacher is Miss Boyd, and I'm excited to ride the bus.
Hey there, Woodland Intermediate. This is Principal Tim Sheldon. I'm excited to welcome you back to a wonderful school year this year. But I just want to say if you're a little bit nervous because you're new to District 50, that's okay. If it's your first year at Woodland Intermediate, that's okay. And if you're a little anxious for the start of school year, that's okay too, because Mr. Sheldon is brand new to Woodland School District, and Mr. Sheldon is brand new to Intermediate as well. And I'm a little anxious too, but we're going to have a great year together. Thanks.
Always great to hear from the students on the first day. So that's going to be, we shared that at our back to school, our welcome back with all the staff, and that'll be going out to all the families tomorrow. We wanted to share it with you first. So we love hearing from them. And Carla came to all of the back to school events with us. And I know Brianna was at some of them too, so they got to see this. So they've seen it several times, but and I've watched it a million times, and I could watch it a million times more. I just love the reason why we're here, and that's the students. So that's all we had tonight, but I just wanted to share some of the good news about coming back.
Great job. Okay, next up, we have citizen statements on the list. We have Gail Saunders. Can you please come forward? Make sure you're wearing your nose correct, or your face mask over your nose correctly. Oh, great. Thank you. Yeah, you have 2 minutes. First, introduce yourself and tell us your affiliation with the district, please.
Hi, I'm Gail Saunders. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Gail, but the mask has to go over your nose and over your chin. Okay, thank you.
I'm Gail Saunders. I hope you can hear me. I'm not a parent. I'm a community member. I'm a taxpayer. I'm used to sub in this district. Let me just get my clock out. Hang on. My phone unfortunately is broken, so. Okay, I'll just talk and hopefully I won't run over. I thought that to start out, I want to say I thought that was a really nice touch to honor the fallen soldiers in Afghanistan. I thought the video was a lot of fun. That being said, I was wondering about Dr. Littell's background. So I went online and I did some research. I didn't find anything really in her bio, but I did find a statement from her, saying that the question was, what do you like most about being on the board? And Dr. Littell's answer was, is it little? Is that it?
Little, yes.
Little's answer was providing a quality education to all students in our district and setting a high academic bar that other schools can follow. Then I did a little bit of research on the district, and I found that 43% of 8th graders in math exceeded expectations in the 2019 PARCC scores. Most of the scores were much lower than that. The average was for 3rd to 8th graders in math and reading. I figured it out. The average was 35.75% out of 100, which I think is very, very low. So it seems that you have some stepping up to the plate to do, because these people are going to be part of our society one day, and they need to learn how to read and write and do math. In addition to that, I know that you are embracing the critical race theory, and I don't understand where this even...
30 seconds.
30 seconds? Okay, I don't even understand where this relates to reality, because we've had black people, there are black people in prominent positions, black people in education. We have a black president of this board, and other things like that. The other thing I saw for Dr. Little was, I wondered what her background was. It's public health, emergency preparedness, and I don't really think that asking people to wear masks is part of this, because the death rate for young people from 0 to 24 was 1.2%.
That's time.
Where the suicide rate was 23%.
Well, thank you very much. You have a great evening. Thanks for coming. Okay. Next up, we have Lynn Ulrich. Oh, he's not here. She is not here. Okay. Okay, well, that's our citizen statements for tonight. We'll move forward with the agenda. Next up on our agenda is the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call vote.
Lizzie,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Brianna,
Yes.
Carla,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
motion carried 7-0.
Okay, thank you. We do have one action item for consideration tonight. It's the approval of a position funded by the Educational and Secondary School Emergency Relief ESSER 3 grant, including 3 social workers, 6 paraprofessionals, 1 Spanish interpreter, translator, and community outreach specialist, and I better get closer because I know it's hard to hear me with the mask on, and up to 12 lunchroom recess supervisors. Can I get a motion to approve the additional staff positions as presented in the Education and Secondary School Emergency Relief Grant Report for FY 2020?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Renee,
Yes.
Renee,
Yes.
She said yes.
I'm sorry, Corey,
Yes.
Anna,
Yes.
Brianna,
Yes.
Carla,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
Lizzie,
Yes.
motion carried 7-0.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda are reports and discussions. We're going to start off this evening with a written report and discussion of the superintendent survey report results from IASB. We have with us Mr. Alan Mulvey, and I'll have you introduce yourself, sir.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hi, everybody. Thank you for having me this evening. It's nice to get a chance to meet everybody. I met with you last month via Zoom, and this is a much better way to do it. And I got to tell you, first of all, that was awesome. As a former superintendent, retired superintendent, and seeing that going out to staff and families at the beginning of the year, whoever's going to come here as your next superintendent is going to come to an awesome place. I mean, that was very, very cool. I really appreciate just seeing it. And so thank you for doing that for your community. That was really great. What I'd like to do, again, I'm Al Mulvey. I'm with the Illinois Association of School Boards. And when Dr. Vineyard and I met with you via Zoom last month, we presented the search process that IASB uses to work with school boards and districts in finding their next administrators. And after our presentation, you chose to go with us to work with you in doing your superintendent search for next year. We appreciate the confidence you have in IASB. As we said in our presentation, we're your association. It's your search. We do the grunt work. We do all the hard work. And we work with you in trying to make the process as easy as possible as you transition into that selection time and hiring your next superintendent. So my time tonight, I'm not going to take a lot of time. What I want to just do is update you as far as where we are at this point as the process has begun. And as we told you when we did our presentation, as soon as you hired us to do the search, we automatically post the vacancy on our website and on IASA's Job Bank website, just so the word gets out through the different connections to those two organizations, ours and IASA's, that we're the ones responsible for the search for the superintendency for your district. And so that got out there right away, and from that point, that activates the online application process through Frontline, which formerly was Applitrack, so that's been open now since that point. And we've been doing the preliminary work as far as putting together the profile and gathering input. And that's kind of what our first step has been to this point. And actually, we just kind of got that finished up just within the last day or two. And that's why I wasn't able to have anything electronically to you, because we actually got the report for the survey finished up in our office yesterday or the day before. So I have hard copies for you of a couple different things. What I'll do briefly is to just talk to you about this and then hopefully answer any questions you have. And then building the profile for the next superintendent really involves not only putting together information about the district, but also then putting together what the input has been from you as board members, from staff members, and from community members. And so we used a couple of different things to put that input together. I did email to all of you a 4-question questionnaire, very, very brief, but it was an opportunity for you to anonymously provide some feedback on what you see as far as strengths with the district, challenges for the district, and some things you'd like to see in the next superintendent. I compiled those comments into one of the items that's on the left-hand side of your folder that I gave to you under the report to the board. That's the first stapled document, and it also includes the overview of the survey that went out to then the community and the staff as well. That's a little bit different than the questionnaire that you were so kind to fill out for me, in that the survey that went out to the community and to the staff really not scientific, as we said at the time. It's just a chance to get input. And the response rate was very, very good. You had a significant number of staff and community members take the time to respond to this online survey. So I think that's a very good reflection on the fact that people were just pleased to be asked for some input. The input required them to prioritize some of the different characteristics that the National Superintendents Association has as job descriptors, and those were the 15 items that people were asked to prioritize into their top 5 preferences for your next superintendent. And what that does is just kind of give us, as we go into the screening process, a little bit of guidance about what you're looking for, whether that's somebody who's got strengths in fiscal matters, they got strengths in negotiations, they got strengths in communication, curriculum, whatever it might be. Now, you want a superintendent that has all 15 of those characteristics, and don't we all? And every superintendent who's going to, or candidate who's going to apply for this position is probably going to have a lot of those characteristics. Our goal, obviously, is to find the best match for you. So that went into some of the input from the staff and from the community. And like I said, very good numbers came back, especially when you put out a survey in the summertime. A lot of people aren't really in tune yet with school, but the number of surveys that were turned back in or submitted to us online was very, very good. So that was one of the pieces. Also included in that survey were some yes/no questions as far as what type of experience you'd like to have your next superintendent to have had. Obviously, teaching is usually, it's almost a given. Some type of building level administration, such as principal, is usually a given. And then we also included a yes/no question regarding district level responsibilities and also previous experience as a superintendent. We also put in a question regarding experience in a multicultural setting too. So I think that these are all important sources of feedback that we were able to get. And again, you're not locked into any of this that as far as the responses that came from your staff and community, but it gives you a sense of the thinking. And it gives us a sense of, okay, this is what the district might be looking for in the next superintendent. So when we put together those bits of information, into the brochure that becomes the official announcement of vacancy, we include those top items as far as the characteristics that you're looking for. We also put in what we see as the most likely minimum requirements for what you're looking for too in terms of experience. That's also included on the left side. And again, this is a draft version. It just got printed yesterday. But the draft version of the announcement of vacancy is on the left side of your brochure, and it's in a booklet form. Usually, the announcement of vacancies for superintendents is in a quad-fold brochure like this, and it gets posted in a PDF form online on the different job sites that get advertised the position. You have so much good information, but instead of trying to condense it into a quad-fold, we decided to try to put it into, and we use this for bigger districts with more and better information, into a booklet. And so what it'll happen, it'll be a nice glossy booklet. It'll be about a 2/3 page size. That we have a printed version available, and that comes from our Springfield office to some of the recipients that are on our list that still want to receive the hard copy of the announcements. But instead, most of these applicants that will now just click on the websites that the job is listed in, and this brochure will come up in a PDF form, and it takes them to the directions for completing the application. This is, again, a draft version. A couple of things that I would like for the board to kind of give me clarity on, or kind of a confirmation. It doesn't require a vote, but maybe by consensus. One thing that is usually included is a statement related to the potential compensation for the next superintendent. Some of the brochures from districts when they're doing a superintendent search, they'll actually list the salary that's going to be offered to the next superintendent. It kind of filters out people who are either making too much or for whatever reason. That tends not to be the case now. Generally, what's listed is a very broad statement that says the compensation will be regionally competitive based on experience and education. And my recommendation is to have that statement as being in the piece related to compensation, because you don't want to tie yourselves, you don't want to lock yourselves into, say, we're going to offer X number of dollars. It's not a secret anymore what superintendents make.
Right.
And so anybody who's applying for a position, they can go online and see what an outgoing superintendent is making. It's not generally what the incoming superintendent's going to be making, especially if the superintendent's retiring. However, they can also look in the area and see what surrounding districts superintendents are making as well. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to put a specific salary range. When it comes time to narrow down those candidates to the final couple of the candidates you're going to be considering, when you start having discussions about salary, you will have made that decision by the time about where you see the compensation for the next superintendent being, and then he or she will invoke that into the discussion that you have during the interview time. That won't come up for a while. It shouldn't. When you interview anybody for the first time, chances are they're not going to ask you what the salary is going to be. If they do, they've avoided some of the more important pieces of the discussion. So at least have that discussion prior to your final interview. The other piece that's in the draft version of the brochure is a projected timeline. If you look on the next to the last page, there's a
Got the first page?
There, yeah, there's something different. These will all be back to back, and so it'll be a shorter version. But projected timeline. This gives all the interested applicants an idea of what you're looking at as far as potentially interviewing and appointing the superintendent. I put the October 7th date as a deadline for the application. Generally, we keep the application open about 5 weeks after the survey has been completed, so October 7th puts us at about that time. You can certainly have it longer, you can have it shorter if you want, but that's just pretty much, this will give enough time for the candidates to apply. It's all done electronically online and submitted. They have to provide not only the online application itself, which includes questions and philosophy of education, a variety of other things they have to upload, but the application packet itself will include a letter of application to us. It will include a complete resume. It will include documentation of their most current transcripts, most current Illinois licensure proof, and also then 3 current letters of recommendation. So that'll all become part of the application packet itself. That once we get to that point where we're doing the screening, we only will look at those who have every item that we have asked for. And then that narrows down those who just start the application process and don't want to complete it. As of now, actually, I checked yesterday, there have been 15 applications already started in the abstract system, and that's without even having a brochure out there yet. So once we post this, the applications will grow and be submitted, because candidates know that this is what they're waiting for. It gives the specifics about you as a district and what you're looking for, and so that will be, as soon as you give me the okay to go ahead and post it, we'll get it posted through probably at least 10 to 12 different sites that we utilize as far as advertising vacancies, including nationwide sources. As we told you in our presentation, we're affiliated with 40 out of 50 states, organizations who do the same thing we do for the school board associations in those states. And so we share our vacancies, they share theirs, and so when we have a vacancy here, your vacancy will be made available through to these other 40 states, and they'll promote it through their school board association as well. So it's a nationwide search, and you'll be getting responses. We'll get responses from all across the country. So that's a very positive thing as far as getting the word out there. The time frame we're looking at, probably by October 7th, closing the application. It takes us about 2 weeks to do the screening. And by we, I mean Dr. Vineyard and myself. She was part of our presentation last month. We'll screen independently all of the completed applications, and we'll narrow down those to a core of applications that we feel best meet what you're looking for in terms of the priorities that were identified, the requirements as far as what you're looking for in terms of experiences, principal, possibly district level position, possibly superintendent experience if that's what you prefer. And then also those candidates who have been in similar districts. And that's what we look for as far as size, as far as makeup in terms of demographics, and then try to bring to you a core slate of candidates who fit that type of a mold. We will interview them, probably a group of about 10 to 12 that we see as the best potential candidates out of the entire group of applicants that we will screen. We will narrow that down to a slate of probably 6. Most boards we find want to interview 6 candidates for the first round of interviews. And that slate can be bigger if you want it, it can be smaller if you want it, but we will narrow down our group of probably 10 to 12 to a slate of 6 to bring to you with all of their material, all of the information that we have gathered from doing our reference inquiries, and that group of 6 will be for you as a board to interview initially for the first round of interviews. We encourage those first round of interviews to be only you as a board. Because if you have more people interviewing for the first round, everybody's going to look good to somebody, and you're going to have a hard time coming up with a consensus. So that first round interview, we encourage it to be Board of Education only, about an hour and a half apiece, within a time frame close together, a couple nights in a row, or however you can work it, and then narrow that group of 6 down to possibly 2, maybe 3 finalists. Then you can broaden the interviewing stage to include possibly however you want, maybe your administrative team, a group of community representation, staff members, union representation, however you want to go about that. That's up to you as a board in the final round of interviews. Those would be all day, most likely, all day events where the candidate would come, visit the schools, tour the district, meet the staff, and then spend time being interviewed by whatever type of a team you put together as far as the interview. I can work with you on those logistics when we get closer to that time. I can help interview them as well with you, should you choose that to be part of the process. And then, once you've narrowed those 2 to 3 finalists down to what you see as your top choice, we certainly encourage you to set up a site visit with 2 board members, you can only send 2, to go visit his or her current district. It's a chance for them to do some show and tell for you. You let that person know that he or she is your top choice pending a site visit, and we can help you put together what a site visit should look like. It's basically just little meetings that he or she would set up for you, the two of you who are going, to meet with maybe his or her union leadership and his clerical staff and a variety of other possibilities in that district to kind of bring some closure to the process where you develop this gut feeling that you want this person to be your next superintendent. This kind of helps to validate it by going and visiting his or her district. It's okay if it's a show and tell. They're not going to have you meet with somebody who doesn't like them, and that's all right. You want to just go and kind of get a sense that it's been where you've gotten to in the selection process makes sense by seeing his or her district in this site visit. There's some guidelines for that and some of the material that we would provide you prior to that, and we can work with you in setting that up too.
And that would be the very top candidate, or?
That would most likely be the top candidate.
Okay.
Some boards want to maybe go visit their top two candidates. The problem is that kind of puts the second choice in kind of a bad position if he or she isn't selected. They've already made a nice show and tell for it with the following people, and then they have to go to work the next day and say, no, it wasn't.
Didn't get it.
I mean, it's the reality, but at the same time, that's why we kind of encourage boards to go to your top select. If you get to that point and you're like, okay, this just may not be the right fit, then you can go to your other choice and set a site visit there, and then if you're at that point and you find that it's just not the right fit, then we go back and we'll bring in more candidates. We can reopen the search. We can do however you want to, at obviously no cost, because we want that to be a successful process all the way through.
Okay.
Just jump in with questions too as we go here. So.
Yeah, sure. So I'm really excited about this process, and also very sad, but really excited about this process. When we were, listening to your presentations, one of the things that we discussed was training for the board, going through some interview training so that we can have a really good idea. I mean, Dr. Little's been through this before, and the rest of us have not. So, when does that happen in this timeline?
That would, if that's the direction you want to go with that, and you want to include that, we would probably look at. Hang on, look at my timeline here. Probably. If the candidates are presented to you, if by the end of October, probably your October meeting, which I don't know what date that would be, is it about the same time each month?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we would have the screening done, and I would be able to come with the candidate material for the 6 in the slate that we would present to you in closed session, and we would do that. And then after that, we would begin moving into the interview stage. So it would be prior to that. So it would be early November. That's kind of a ballpark time frame. Early November, we would do that. Setting up your initial interviews, we can work with you on those. We've got sample questions for you, logistics, a variety of different things we can help you with in terms of scheduling and setting that up. But again, working with you in that piece of it, we would certainly bring that into the mix prior to doing that. And then after those initial interviews, having your 2 or 3 finalists back for the final interviews, probably as soon as you possibly can. You as a board, come together and you say, okay, we've interviewed these 6, where are we at? And you come together with your notes and bring back, let's say, 2 finalists, for example, and then you would set those up soon after. But you could be looking at probably early December, where you'd be at the point where you'd be close to offering the position.
Okay.
And I don't think that's too optimistic, because I think that, like we said in our presentation, we usually look at about a 3 to 4 month span from surveying the community to offering the position. That's kind of generally how it works. There's a pretty strong pool right now, and there's going to be a significant pool for us to screen from to present to you as far as candidates. I'm looking forward to that. So
that's great.
One of the things we talked about in our presentation that we can do, and it may or may not be necessary, and that was at the beginning, in the initial stages, is to also do a community and staff focus groups. That's usually for, if you don't have a good survey response, it's an opportunity for some more input. Your survey response was very good, and as you get a chance, you take this, do your homework, you go through this, you'll see that there was a pretty good amount of feedback. The open comment section, those open comments are also on the right-hand side of this folder I gave you, and you can look through those on your own. So it's up to you if you want to do that, if you want to have those focus groups, if you feel very comfortable in the feedback that you've got, and most of the time, people just want to be asked for some input, and they're glad this response of your community and your staff on the survey, is, in my mind, it was a very good signal that they were glad to be asked. And so I think that if you're comfortable with this, we're comfortable with what we've got as far as the input to put together. And if you don't want to have those, but if you do, we can certainly set those up, and I can talk to you more as far as dates and how we would do it, the logistics of that. But as a board, it's something you might want to consider. I mean, there is as we said, there's an additional fee in that because it's not part of our basic search fee, because a lot of districts don't want to do it, and so we don't include that. And if they do, then there's an additional cost just as a separate fee. But
Yeah, I don't see anyone around the table wanting to do it.
I guess my question would be, in the interview process, if there's a phase where the community is involved in that piece of taking a look at some of the finalists, like with that.
Yeah, I could see them. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe when they come in for the site visit, that would be a good opportunity to involve some community at that point.
Right.
But I wouldn't.
It
I don't
might
think
be more productive. And
Yeah.
It's not that I'm saying I don't want to charge you for something that's not going to make a big difference. Bottom line is, and I think that IASB doesn't include that as our regular search process because we've found that people are very satisfied with the survey. It's like I said though, the survey is not scientific, but it's enough to people, and you have a lot of open comments.
Yeah.
And that's good because, and like I also said too, the open comments sometimes it's a section for people just to rant, and they didn't do that. I mean, there were some very constructive comments. There were some very positive things about Dr. Casey, and I think that, and also you as a board, as you read through those, I think that you may feel that we've got the input that we need from at the beginning piece. Now we can start moving ahead towards the screening and ultimately the interviewing stage. So.
Yeah.
And also, and like you said, some of the interview training, we can build that into the final cost of the process, as well as if you choose to have myself or Dr. Vineyard assist with the interviewing at the end and help facilitate the public piece of the interviewing. If you're going to involve staff and community in that piece, we can do that.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I would like to see community involvement at that point.
Yeah, that's what I.
So
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think that even though we recommend that, recommended that at the beginning, after seeing things evolve to this point, I think it would be worthwhile to maybe remove that from the next step and just continue with the heading into the application and screening piece. Once you, and really the next step is this: that the brochure. And I keep calling it a brochure. It's just basically a bunch of pages stapled together right now, but it will look like it'll come out in booklet form. I would leave that with you. Take a look at, see if there's any mistakes or corrections. Basically, I proofed it as best I could after our administrative assistant printed it yesterday, and I think that if you're okay with it, as soon as you're okay with it, we'll go ahead and get it posted on and linked to all of the different job sites that we work with. And I'll send Carla. I'll send to you a copy of it once before it's posted, just so you see what it would look like in booklet form.
Okay.
But, keep it. I mean, maybe within the next day or two, look at it. If there's anything you need changed or want tweaked on it, let Dr. Little know, and then she could let me know that. We can be in contact maybe by the end of the day tomorrow. If people can get to you after they have a chance to look at it, and then
Is
we'll
that
definitely
okay,
have it.
board?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely have it ready to post on Monday for sure.
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. Other questions? I know I talked real quickly through a lot of this, but I just wanted to kind of give you as far as the information we have so far. The district information for the brochure was provided by the district office. It was very extensive and very good, and that's shown in the brochure too. So, any questions?
Did you have a question?
No, this is,
Oh, okay.
No.
If you haven't, if there's a couple of you who haven't had a chance to do the questionnaire for me, still do that and get it to me. Feel free to get it to me, and we'll include it with all of the material, especially as you. It will be helpful to you as you head into interviewing topics, and I'll get you a revised summary of everybody's comments once I get those last two questionnaires.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your time. I appreciate the chance to meet with you. Again, I wish you the best of luck in the beginning of the school year, Dr. Casey. I think it seems like That'll be a challenge. It's a good time to be retired soon. But I think you're going to have a good slate of candidates. You're going to have a very good pool of candidates that you're going to be working with. So,
No questions, Lori? Dr. Casey? No. You might cry.
Not yet. At some point, I will, but not yet.
So, Dr. Little, if you would just get back to me, you can just text or email me to give me the okay on the brochure, and then we'll get that posted right away. And then I'll keep you posted. Your next meeting will be towards the end of September.
Yes.
And there won't really be a need for me to come to that, but what I'll do is I will let you know how many applications have been submitted at that time, just so you can update the board on that.
Right.
And then it won't be until October once the applications close and we do the screening, and we'll set up a time to meet in closed session with candidates. Whether that's a regular meeting or a special meeting, whatever, depending on date.
Okay.
But that's what we'll do. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Great job. Appreciate all your hard work. Well, be safe going home.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good drive.
Okay, we'll move forward then with the next written and report and presentation on the FY21 budget development. Mr. Bobek. I will not stand up.
Probably gonna have to stand right in front of this because I never really talk into the mic. All right, this is an annual update, and I'll tell you right off the bat, what typically happens when you're budgeting is you're budgeting, and then you have to take a pause to do the update, and then as soon as you create this presentation, you start budgeting again. So all the numbers change. I say it every year. The numbers change. They change quickly. We're at the point in time where we're giving you the August update. The next time we talk about the budget, it'll be at the budget hearing, and then we'll go ahead and we'll approve the budget that September. Budget has to be in and officially voted on and approved before September 30th. It works. How about that? It's going to have a lot of numbers. That's basically what we're going to be talking about, and I can tell you we're going in the right direction from the tentative budget that was presented in June. After doing some editing and some refinement, I haven't really done too much with revenues. Some of it's going to be state, a little bit of it's local. I haven't touched the federal revenues on this report. I can tell you, post this, I have touched some of the federal revenues, some of the transportation claims, some of the other claims have gone in, some of the grants we've received more information about allocations. More of the work has been done on the expenditure side, and you can see some big differences from what was originally budgeted to where we're at now, especially in the education fund. Basically, this screen, when it's all said and done, what you can take away from it is, with the $160,000 plus in revenue, thanks to evidence-based funding, thanks to that $300 million that they gave to us, thanks to our per capita tuition that went down last year, which meant our funding went up, maybe took a little bit away from Prairie Crossing, is that we gained, all of our revenues minus our expenses in our operating fund are at a surplus now. We are at plus about $850,000, so that's fantastic. Different way to say it, different pictures. I put in a visual because otherwise it's just numbers. This will show you the August budget to what we budgeted back in fiscal year 21. So you see some big differences in there. And some of those bigger differences have to do with the ESSER grant when you're talking about $4 million, $5 million. So don't get overwhelmed if you see something that's extremely large in there. We've had a lot of grant funding, which has been great, and we thank the federal government for doing that. Pie charts generally show the same thing all the time. Education fund takes the most, and then you're talking about operations and maintenance and potentially debt service and transportation behind it. Source of revenues, 82% is probably the lowest we've had in a long time out of local revenue, but that's because we've had so much come in through federal funding. Usually that federal number is much less than 10%. like I said, revenue side, not much adjustment. The state came in. We've got our first evidence-based funding payments. That's fantastic. A couple of changes in what we think our fees might be in collection rate this year. So total adjustments of $160,946. Expenditure side, remember this goes back to fiscal year 21. You see some bigger numbers as well. One of the biggest things that we're going to be looking at is in terms of, if you look at supplies and equipment on the lower portion of this screen, you can see we went from $5 million to $13.6 million. Well, we're still looking at paying the second half of the middle school roof from this summer for this year. And then the first half, we'll talk about it in a little bit, phase 2 of that roof, which is, it's a big roof and it's an expensive roof. We've actually upped this amount from last time because we're also going to be talking about, coming up here, the addition of a solar project in our capital project. So a lot of those dollars, a lot of those increases are coming from the capital project side. You'll see some reductions as well on the next screen, which is going to be where we get into a little bit more detail. Salary and benefits reduced by $1.35 million. Some of our staffing on our own hasn't come into this point. We'll also be looking to outsource maybe a position or two. On the benefit side, last time I talked about how benefits went up significantly. There was at the end of the year, there's a journal entry that goes back. They didn't go up quite as much. I think I overreacted a little bit, so I pulled it back a little bit for this one. And I'm trying to get us as close as possible to the number that we're at. Good thing about what happened between last year and this year with benefits is that it actually went down fairly significantly on the HMO side, the PPO side, a lot less significantly, but less than the previous year nonetheless. Services changed to $265,000. I'd say the biggest portion of that came from the insurance that came in. We did have one property casualty, and also workers' comp. One went up. That was the first one that came in, went up by about $50,000. The other came in and went down by about $170,000. So all in all, there was a little bit of a, oh boy, here we go again, because insurance typically goes up, and then all of a sudden we got the good news about the other piece of the insurance, which was great. Tuition, private placement, you'll see a drop of $582,000 from the first time. We do have a significant portion of students that were outplaced that have either graduated on or are just not being outplaced. They're coming back to the district this year, which is fantastic. Thank you. Thank you, Pupil Services Department. So that helps the budget out. And then, once again, I talk about capital projects. The $1.49 million, we added a couple of capital projects. One of the biggest of that being the solar project. And remember, the solar project is going to net us money in the end. So upfront expense, but net us money in the end, which is nice. And then, obviously, we have the roof again. We'll talk about that later. Expenses came down by $682,000. This is our one snapshot screen. Last time, that lower right-hand corner was at about 8.2, if I remember correctly, to the negative side. Not all of that was from capital projects. Some was from our operating funds. This time, it's at 7.3, but we've got 8.2. Well, 8.2 is coming out of working cash. 7.4. Where's my capital project? Capital projects. $8 million coming out of capital projects. So you can see that's where the net surplus comes in when we're talking about operating funds, and that's where you want to be. Every year the goal, remember, our goal is to maintain at least 25%. If our expenses are going to go up by maybe $2 million per year, you still want to have a surplus of 25% of that added to your already existing surplus, which should be at 25%. So we're there, and we're looking good right now, and I look forward to September, and I hope to show you even better numbers then. And I think we are on to questions. And it's weird having everybody back here. So I turn around.
Okay, board? Questions? Comments? Thank you very much. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Going the right way.
Yes.
Yep.
We appreciate your hard work with this. Okay, we'll move forward in the agenda. I apologize, my computer did something. I'll get it back up in just a second. Let's see. Next up, we have a written report on the FY21 student assessment data provided by Dr. Thomas. Did you want to give an overview of that while I pull my
Sure.
computer
If the
back?
board has any questions, Dr. Thomas is here. Steve, would you like to give a brief overview?
Yeah, sure. As I communicated out with our families sometime, I think it was April, we've had some assessments that we've been required to give by the Illinois State Board of Education / the federal government. We have some assessments that we've chosen to give. And we try to work within what we're allowed to do. One of the biggest things that we chose to do was delay the IAR assessment, which is the federally mandated state assessment for Illinois. So we'll actually need to pick that up actually in just several weeks from now. But the one piece that we did do that I think our families are most familiar with, which is our MAP assessment. So we did provide the MAP assessment in the spring. And what I was communicating, I think, in the report was that I don't really want to draw a lot of conclusions from the data that we've had here. I think it's something that I am bound by Illinois State Code to provide to you, and there's no objections to that. But I don't think it's something we should really emphasize too much. But I think what I would say is when I looked at the data, I would say the majority of our scores compare to what we would see in national trends, as well as really fall within one standard deviation of the norms with MAP. So beyond that, I think I would just say this is just one snapshot in time. But the other piece is something that I put towards the end, is something that our administrative team has been really working on, which is this piece about, you've heard the term unfinished learning or not quite done learning. And I think what I would like to kind of hopefully you'll take away from this is one possible negative thing we could do is focus too much of our effort on remediation just as kids are coming back in. A couple reasons for that. One of those, there's several of the theorists are talking about really the impact to a person. If you think you're a good math student or you think that you're good in reading, and then all of a sudden you come back and you end up in a remediation class, what does that do to you? What does that really kind of say? It really adjusts your thought process of how you think you are in a particular content area. So that's a big caution. The other piece is kids are really going through a lot. There's a lot of us, even right now, that are going through a lot. So it's too harsh, too fast to really do anything with the remediation. Let's get kids in. Let's get kids comfortable, feeling confident, and then we'll start addressing more of the academic things. So I'd say that's a summary.
Yeah, thank you. Very good point. Any questions? No?
I just completely agree. I think it's really important that we get kids back in the classroom and that teachers can do their good work and that we don't rely too much on questionable data at this point. So I'm really glad to hear you say that because I think it's really particularly meaningful. And our teachers have been so excited to get back in the classroom. Having them get to know their students and start to figure out what they need, I think is going to be the most valuable thing we can do. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next up, we have some revised policies for your review. You received them in your board packet. Are there any questions or comments about the policies? Okay, hearing none. We'll bring these back for an action item in September. Next up, we have the written information on the middle school roof project. Chris spoke to in the finance report. Are there any questions, comments about the roof report? Phase 2 of the roof project. Okay, you guys are pretty quiet tonight. Written report on the middle school solar project. Also is a written report in your packet. Are there any questions or comments about the solar project?
We discussed this in Finance Committee, Chris, do you want to give kind of a big picture overview?
Where do we want to start? We've been discussing solar for quite a while here.
Yeah.
The middle school is always a bit of an issue. From going with the PPA, pivoting strategies, there we go, and going outside the PPA and looking at go ahead and purchasing and owning our own solar system was kind of the key. And there was some timing with this because of the SRECs that we've secured to this point. So we went out and we looked not only at the person that was providing the PPA, who gladly said that they would go ahead and erect a solar array for us. We also looked at another company that has done several installations very, very near to here with other school districts. We wanted to make sure that what we were receiving from Siemens, we could compare it to something else and make sure that we were getting a good deal. And we've had both of the companies go back and sharpen their pencils on multiple occasions. And what came back to the Finance Committee was what we believe a good deal, especially knowing that we have those SRECs that are still intact. There was not a company out there that could beat them by any means. In the grand scheme of things, we're looking at something that's going to have very significant payback over the time, and we're going to own that. And so there's going to be no middleman that we're going to have to pay, kind of with the PPA. That's what we have with the PPA, and there's a little bit of a middleman fee. We're going to go ahead and forego that. We'll have to own them and operate them ourselves and maintain them ourselves, but all in all, this is going to be something that's going to be really good for the district.
Any questions or comments?
It comes after a process that has been, we've been dogged in our pursuit of the best possible plan for the district on solar. Chris has done a remarkable job making sure that the district was getting the fair price for what we were getting. There are so few things that we can do to actually make money as a school district, but the savings, the energy savings from this are going to be significant and great for us. And I want to commend you because you've worked really, really hard on this, and your team has done an excellent job, and we're almost there.
And
almost there.
Almost there.
That's
Yes,
nice.
there.
Yeah.
Almost there. Now, in the committee also, fantastic job for everybody that's on the committee. This is
thank
something
you.
that it
Thank you
was,
both.
making sure that this is still at the forefront, which is good.
Okay, any further questions or comments on the solar?
I have one quick question. Does this kind of schedule as to when this project would kind of pay for itself, does that include the energy savings?
Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, when it's all said and done, energy savings as well as the solar renewable energy credits as well as the inverter rebates, it's going to pay for itself by year, I believe it was year 9, and then because the panels will last at least 20 to 25 years, you're talking about millions of dollars of net gain. So it's going to be something that's going to be a good windfall.
Yeah. It's huge. Yeah.
Other questions or comments? Okay, next up, we have the written information on the accounts payable specialist job description. Also in your board packet, Chris spoke of that earlier. You all had a chance to look at it. Do you have any questions or comments on the job description? Okay, that'll come back to the board for approval on the September agenda. We'll move forward then with board improvements and operations. I think there were a couple of items under board of improvements and operations. Let me pull those up. One is the board retreat that we have scheduled for September 11th, 2021. We'll meet from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. We'll have a couple of workshops planned. One is on diversity, equity, diversity, and inclusion. I think you guys will enjoy that exercise, the workshop, and all that involves. And then the second half of the day, we'll talk about board operations. How do we come together as a board, learn to trust each other in the circumstances that we find ourselves in, and then move the district forward. I think I asked for feedback on, that's pretty much the agenda, the 2 buckets. It's really a packed agenda, but those are the 2 main buckets of the agenda. We're still waiting. We met, actually Lori and I met with the IASB reps today that will facilitate the workshop, and they're working out the details of the agenda. We'll get that to you as soon as we receive it.
Will it be the lady from before?
I'm sorry?
Will it be the same lady from before?
Yeah, so it'll be Laura Martinez, who is our field service representative, as well as 2 ladies that have the responsibility of diversity and inclusion workshops for board training.
So this
They
is a
actually do
different
a
lady.
board training on this.
No, so this is a different lady from when we did it before?
No, she's the same. The one lady who is our field representative, Laura Martinez.
That was
She'll
Early in
facilitate.
the morning?
Huh?
That lady that we had early in the morning?
Yes. Yes, we spoke with, with our expectations to her
Okay.
about our expectations for the day.
Okay.
I think you'll enjoy it.
You said at 8 o'clock
8 a.m., yes.
on a Saturday?
8 a.m. to 3:30.
Okay, Carla, okay.
Yeah. It'll be a
It'll be
lot
good.
to put into the day.
And it's here.
It's here, right?
It'll be here,
Okay.
yes. We'll do it here, spaced out. And yeah, become comfortable, for the day.
Okay.
We'll provide breakfast and lunch.
Yep. Breakfast and lunch provided, so, it'll be a working lunch. We keep you guys busy all day. Working breakfast, working lunch. It's not a day off. Any questions about that? Like I said, we'll get the agenda out to you as soon as it's ready, but anything further on that?
Looking forward to it.
Okay. Me too. The other thing that's not on here, and it's not an action item, so I think I'm okay to mention it. Back in August, we were, as you all may recall, we were supposed to go to Springfield, or I was to present on the resolutions, but since they were under consent agenda, they told me not to come. So I'm assuming they passed consent agenda because I haven't heard anything from IASB. But as soon as I hear something on the 3 resolutions, then I'll share them back. But so far I haven't heard anything. So I think no news is good news because it was consent agenda. We didn't get a notice that they pulled them out or they were. So I think we're okay there. I think we're fine. But that's it for board improvements and operations. Gosh, I keep closing out that
Carla, may I ask
program.
a question?
Yes, please, go ahead.
I know at one time we were talking about maybe if we could do like a
Can you lean into the microphone, please?
I know one time we were talking about like a hybrid version for our meetings, for if people wanted to be on Zoom as opposed to being here. Did you ever get any information on that?
It was my understanding that we cannot do that. I actually sat in on the Open Meetings Act training yesterday with IASB, because, I think those things are fun.
I know you do.
But based on how the emergency order, executive order from the governor is written, right now, you can only be out, well, let me back up. So you can only have a virtual meeting if there's an emergency declaration, right?
Okay.
If there's a public health emergency in the area that calls for it. That's the only way we could all be virtual. And now it's back to the original rule that says board members can only be virtual in the event of a quorum for some very specific reasons. So, if it's an emergency with your family, if it's a work, emergency, things like that, if you're on board business or work, did I say work business, then you can be out. But we're back to those old rules.
Okay.
Yeah, so unless something changes, then we won't, we can't be virtual.
Okay.
So, are you concerned about that, or?
I'm kind of concerned about the new variant. I said I'm concerned about the new variant, and I wish I had the option of being at home or being here. But it is what it is.
Well, the governor's handing out executive orders. Maybe you could put that on his radar.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up then, I did not ask about announcements. Any announcements and committee reports? Anything additional on committee reports? Anything?
Finance committee met, but we've talked about virtually everything we've talked about.
So Finance Committee, we talked about the budget, facilities, we talked about solar, sustainability. We brought in the Director of Operations and Facilities, John Fuhr, and Bob Adamek, who's the facilities manager, who will probably be leading the sustainability charge. They had a presentation outline, and we're getting going to, into the more formalized mission and goal and vision, and they're going to come back with a report at the next Finance and Facilities and Sustainability meeting, and then we'll have something at the board meeting coming up soon as well.
Okay. And the policy committee met, and you had the policies for your review in your package. So please look those over, as they'll be on as an action item next week. If you find anything with them, just please let me know. Next, anything further? Committee reports. Okay. There was, under status of request for board members, recap future board items and correspondence, there was a correspondence for your review. Is there any feedback on the correspondence?
I did, in reference to the August 10th email.
I'm sorry, what?
In reference to the August 10th email at 4:51 p.m.
Is that right? I didn't look at the date, actually. Yeah.
I just questioned, would it be prudent to let her know when the numbers would be available, how she could get them?
Sure. I had said we would provide it after our 6-day enrollment count, so it would be 6 days after we begin school, but I could certainly add to there that, that is X date. Our numbers are changing daily.
Yeah.
Morning to afternoon they're changing, so I couldn't give an accurate number right now. So
right.
I can certainly add the date if the board would like.
Like if I was the sender and I saw this, I'm like, well, is it going to be sent? When will it be sent?
Sure.
So I'm trying to just save another email back of asking questions.
Yeah, I have the same thought only because I've been in districts where they do their counts at different times. Like maybe they do them in October or something,
Right.
So I have
the state of Illinois, we have to do it our 6-day count. And we've given her this number already
Right.
prior, so she's asking for it again. So I will certainly add that clarification.
Yeah. Anything further? Okay. Hearing nothing. The other correspondence is okay to go out. Any citizen statements? Nothing. No citizen statements. Okay. Then finally, we have the this packet that Alan asked everybody to review. He asked that we provide feedback to him by close of business tomorrow. So if you guys can get that information to me, maybe by 5 o'clock, I will assume that you don't have any feedback, and let him know if it's okay to go, if I haven't heard from you by 5 o'clock, okay? Is that okay with everybody? 5 o'clock is good tomorrow?
So you only want to hear from us if we have changes?
Right. If you have changes, then let me know. If I don't hear from you, then I'll assume you don't have changes.
Okay.
Okay? Any further business before the board? Hearing none, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Corey,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Brianna,
Yes?
Carla,
Aye.
Joe,
Yes.
Lizzie,
Yes.
Renee.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You get some rest. Have a great rest of your evening.
Feel better.
Feel better, please. Bye, Laura.
Aye, thank you.
She's in good huh? Wow.
Well, there was a couple of like,
Hey, Renee,
there's a couple of like newsletters.
did you get your computer fixed? Oh, okay. What was the problem? Oh, yeah. She figured it out? Oh, okay. Oh.